Well, Kunodi, this is a short break of the October, right? So we don't see many students here. But can you give me a brief tour
Sure.
in your school?
Sure, yes.
Okay.
This is the one-story building, and you can see we call this time the October Fun Festival. So it's about a 1-month break, and the kids get to do activities like this. I think it's their science activities with the colored. I think they're learning about the color and the water. More like, yeah, it's science, definitely, because there are fish, and then the animals, I think they have to do counting, and then that is the plants. So it's nap time. The kids, I strictly enforce the rule that the kids have to they have to take naps every day. Even for the new science have come out, the research about the sleeping pattern and napping, they found out that at Harvard, even napping is very good for your brain. So if you can, you have to nap every day, every afternoon. But if not, then have a very good sleep at night.
When you finished your master's degree from the Harvard University, what did you do after that?
First, I was thinking that I wanted to be a project advisor because a few of my students who graduated before, they started companies and they were doing just that. So I was thinking of working with them, but then I applied to continue my research at Harvard, and then I got accepted. So that was another option that was really, interesting for me. But then I talked to my mother. She said, "Why don't you come back? You have been dreaming of writing a book since you were a child, and now why don't you write a book about what you learned?" Because I've been complaining to my mother at that time before I studied this program. I was looking at the book about the brain in Thailand. The book's like, you must develop your left side of the brain, or you are a right brain person, which is so wrong. It's not right. It's not scientifically right at all. To me, it's a crime. You don't write about things that are not true. So my mom, since she heard me complaining about all these books and then my dream about writing a book, so she said, "Why don't you just come back to Thailand and write a book? Because first of all, you can stay home. You've been missing Thailand so much, and then you have the correct knowledge." So it's bun in Thailand, we call it like good karma, you write about the good things, it's good karma. So he said, just do that, come back home. And then I said, but I got this job at Harvard, people are fighting. And at that time, the university had given me a time period, like 1 week. If I don't go and report myself, then they would give this position to someone else. Because a lot of people were waiting in line, I got it. So I told my mom, I got this, I fight for this. She said, are there a lot of smart people at Harvard? I said, yes, of course. And she said, okay, if you don't stay at Harvard, are they going to die? I said, no. And she said, Harvard can go on without you. But in Thailand, is there anyone who got this degree besides you who can speak Thai? I said, no. Because at that time, a few years back, I was the first Thai person to do this. So she said, so you can be the first Thai woman to write about the brain in Thai. It doesn't have to be a translated book anymore. Right. So just come back here and do it. So I booked the flight, and then it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Back to Thailand?
Yes, finally, because of my mom.
And all of the books are about the brain, and in Thai you say อัจฉริยะสร้างได้ Yes. What is the concept of อัจฉริยะสร้างได้?
Okay, there are two words together. So อัจฉริยะ means like intelligence or genius. สร้างได้ means like it can be created. But then I think the mindset of Thai people, especially including me as well, we think that intelligence or genius, you have to be born with it. If you are either born smart or born stupid. If you're stupid, then you're stupid. That's it. Like, don't think about it. But actually, when you really think about it, the people, this is what Dr. Gardner said, I think it's so smart. He said, when people sit for entrance exam and people, just few will pass the exam and get into this very hard university. The very university is very hard to get in, and a lot of people would fail the exam. So if you think hard about it, then which group would need the education more? So when you think hard about it, it's the group who didn't pass the exam. But this is a system that you reward the people who are already smart with the best education. Of course, they're going to excel in life, but then you are leaving out this whole bunch of people who have pretty good brains, just didn't pass the exam, but they need the education more. So the world should be reversed, and we should have a better education for people who didn't actually they couldn't have made it on their own. The smart people, they could have made it, you know, with or without very good education. So when you think about it, intelligence can be created. Genius people can be created, because that's the whole purpose of the educational system. So this book, I think it's a very cute name, because I put the two things together that were not supposed to be together. Intelligence and being able to, you know, have it be created in your life.
How could you apply your knowledge to overcome and to go through that problems?
I think the knowledge in class helped quite a bit, but there were a few more knowledge, you know, the different kinds outside of class. Because in the theory of multiple intelligences, there's one kind of intelligence called intrapersonal intelligence and interpersonal intelligence. There are two kinds, but one applies to the intelligence within yourself. And the good thing that we're Thai people, we are born in the Buddhist country, so you get to do a lot of meditation, you know, get to go on a lot of retreats. It's in the culture. So I've been doing that since I was about 18. And it's become a part of me. You get to shut down all the noises, you know, the voices outside, and really concentrate on what's your mission in this life. The more you get older, there are like more complicated things in life you have to get into, and it's harder and harder to handle.
What do you think are the main factors that brought you to be at this point?
It's only one factor. It's my mom. I can hardly say I would have done it on my own. Never, ever. Because I think when I look back as a child, I was not very strong. I was pretty weak spirit. And then as a teenager, I was like not that confident. Even now, I'm not that confident. But I have this mom who is always believing in me. I don't know what she saw in me, but she saw. I can't say the main factor. I would say the only factor. I always tell her, like, next life, if I have to come back again, I want you as my mom. And she said, no, it's too much work to be your mom. She said, next life, she wants to be my daughter, because she would give me, like, you know, she'll teach me how hard it is to be a mom.
For those who are students, if they are student, a jobber, or any people who would like to be good at studying or good at work, to be happy in their life, what would be your suggestions for them?
Simple suggestions would be the thing that I know it would be so hard to do, but I have to say, and it would sound so silly and simple, but I have to say it for, you know, the people in this rushed society, is that you have to sleep. You have to make sure you sleep a lot every day. It's so important, because the brain, it's pretty much about chemicals. You know, you have to have the right balance of chemicals every day in order for you to feel fresh and alive, and for your brain to work at its optimal level. It's not good for the brain. And I think sleep is like the easiest thing you can do to improve your brain, and the rest would follow. The rest would be food and then exercise. And I think the most basic thing is the most advanced thing that science have found out. You just sleep well, you eat well, you exercise. And I think my secret is to surround myself with positive people. It's so important.
After this, I have to make sure that I have enough sleep. Well, such a great time talking with you today, Kun Nudi vanessa3, and thank you for joining my program today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
ASEAN TV, 10 nations, one vision.